Alright, what's going on, guys? It's Sevadra, back at it. Episode 4 of King of the Hill this time. And I'm recording this on the start of the new season's preseason. Yeah, the fun thing. So they decided to do a preseason type deal because they wanted to test the Cobra and Engie balance changes. And see if they could put it into the season for next season. So if that ends up going through, then King of the Hill will basically be T0 or boost only, just kind of a free boost or a different boost only competitive ladder, or a free boost only competitive ladder, which I'm not super barred with, but I also personally don't like the addition of Cobra and Engie to that ladder. But regardless, we are here playing against K. If you don't know, then this man is Pete Mob, the legend. And I respect Pete Mob. I like Pete Mob. We've talked, not really at all, but we've talked a couple times. He's pretty chill. And yeah, I'm going to be playing a best of 3 because given the season reset, we'd be playing in the best of 1 lobby, but we decided to do a best of 3. Fun story. We decided to do the best of 3 after the first game. So yeah, you'll see how that goes. And yeah, so we're starting out on inlets. I'm going boat mortar because I've been brushing up my boat mortar play, and I've been doing pretty well with it actually. He's actually going dart though, so I didn't know that dart was really viable on this map. Furthermore, I didn't know that Dart Farm Ace was viable on this map. So this caught me a little bit off guard. I didn't know if I should have played a little more aggressive or not than I usually do with Boat Farm Mortar, but the problem is that Boat Farm Mortar is more reliant on, I think actually, it might be, but it's more reliant on having good farms late game than Dart Farm Ace is. So if I was gonna play aggressive, I basically had to play all in aggressive. And I wasn't really thinking about the inner workings about that throughout this game, so I don't know if I'm making a bad play here or not. If you can let me know in the comments. Honestly, I'm down to take feedback about how I decide to take these strategies in the moment, because I'm also doing a post commentary of this because my morning was honestly just not that great when I recorded this, so I wasn't really giving good commentary. And yeah, it allows me to give or get more retrospect and insightful analysis on my play. So yeah, I kind of just breezed through the first 6 rounds. I was aggressive on round 6 and I got some lives on him. He's going to be aggressive right back on round 8, and I thought just getting a 0-0 mortar would do. I didn't end up mortar microing really at all, and I took a good lot of leaks for it. I should have at the least gotten up the Bernie stuff. I think that was the play right there. Because now we're basically tied in lives. And I have one more farm than him, but he has more eco than me. And that's something else about Pete Mob. He's going to be playing very mixed eco heavy in these games, which I'm not very used to, because it makes the mid game really hard. So I send an aggressive rush round 11, I bloom boost it, he just tower boosts, and he's able to defend that easily. And yeah, now the mid game is here, so I don't know if I should be super aggressive with this type of rush. I'm pretty sure I decide to not be aggressive with a mid game rush. I decided to just try and greed for farms. He's going to send me a little bit of a rush, so I get up a destroyer and do some mortar micro, and I'll be fine on that. Not too many lives lost there. And yeah, I'm going to put my mortar back. We can choose to go for a farm or rush. I will choose to rush because his defenses are kind of low right now. He doesn't have a second Spolt, and he only has 3 triple darts. So I was honestly expecting him to pull out an ace. And I also wanted to see if he had like good camo detection, which I feel like he didn't, because he tanked 40 lives there. And I feel like those 40 lives were primarily camos, so I think I caught him out well with that. Then I sent some regen leads for round 16, just boosted, no problem. I think I re-rush here. I was thinking about getting up a second farm, but I think do I re-rush here? I don't re-rush here. Okay. So yeah, I do end up getting... No, I don't get my second farm. What am I doing here? I'm kind of just hesitating for no reason, if I'm being completely honest. Oh, okay. Actually, I remember now. So I wanted to re-rush-ish, but I also like didn't know if he was just gonna save up money. So I did end up like rushing for round 18. Didn't really do anything. He ended up getting an ace just right away. But we're both very low on farms, and we're kind of playing the mixed eco route here. So I sent a Moab. And this was not a great play because I underestimated the ODS. With good ODS micro, and also the fact that like the ODS basically lined up with being up at the top there at the perfect time, I didn't think that like the ODS was gonna handle as well as it did, except it looked like it handled well, and then it didn't, so what the hell do I know? But yeah, that ended up killing him. I think it was the bloom boost that got him. So yeah, I ended up winning that first game, and then we decided to go for a best of 3. I could have taken the win there if I like absolutely wanted to, but I was just like, fuck it. Playing Pete Mob is experience for me, and I may come to regret that decision. But it's still good practice that I should have. So here we're on Riverside. I'm going Boat Mortar again. But this time I'm going to play a little more passive. And surprise, surprise, Mr. Pete Man is going Dart again. Now, this one really caught me off guard because, like, I kind of just thought, like, the Pete Mob isn't a DFA one trick, right? There's no way. There's no way this dude's actually going DFA on Riverside. But while I definitely don't know like the better placements and the spots and shit for Riverside, it's apparently definitely doable. And you'll be able to see that in this game. I could definitely have changed up some things about how I played in this game in particular, because this game was kind of a turning point game for me. In case you understand, that's a spoiler. I kind of lost this, and I didn't lose it bad, but I also didn't play the greatest that I could have. So I decided to agree for this farm. He's going to be sending me mixed eco while just playing with that one banana farm. So this is going to be important going into the later rounds here. He's going to have a fairly high eco, but he's also going to be like fairly behind on farms. Like, I'm kind of sending here to try and force defense, but it didn't do anything. I should have just saved and gone for another farm before round 6. But yeah, so he's going to be sending in the greens too. He's going to be going like super hard with the eco. And this mixed eco like strategy is not something I'm used to playing, especially against like farm strategies, because I just kind of think intuitively like, oh, if he's sending eco, then he doesn't have money at certain points, and then he can't, if he doesn't have great farms, then he doesn't have enough to do certain things. And I guess I just have a bad judgment on what those certain things are, because I end up thinking that I can like do rushes, and then they end up being useless because he just has more money than I think he does. So this time he sends me yellows again. I get up the Bernie stuff immediately. He ends up sending blacks behind that. That's not going to be any issue, but he is still space ecoing. And I considered it more, I ended up considering this more as a rush than actually space ecoing, which was my problem here. I didn't take into account just how much he was actually sending, which is kind of what cost me in the game here. So I sent him a lead to force the Juggernaut. He didn't end up going Dark Farm Wizard. Otherwise, like, yeah, because I think he maybe expected me to go Boat Mortar here, but he could also have just been playing to play however he wanted to. He's gonna send me some whites. Sorry about that. I get up a Destroyer immediately. I ended up sending a pretty well blended rush with some Regen Zebras on round 11, because the Juggernaut was not going to hit all of them, and they were going to force him to regrow because it was going around the bend on the other side. So that was a good play from me. Then I sent this rush, and this is what I was talking about earlier. This rush ended up doing absolutely nothing. He was absolutely fine. He had good Jug micro there. Ended up defending that rush with no problem. And while it looks like he's behind on farms, he's really not, because he's got like 600s, like 650-ish eco here, maybe 700. But yeah, so like he's got a pretty high eco is what I'm saying. Furthermore, I was thinking about this as I was playing. I remember this distinctly, like at the end of round 14. I was thinking about whether or not I should have gone for a bank play, and I may have been taking the page out of Asian Sensations like book, because he mentioned in a recent video that making that type of bank play is one of the safer ways to get a BIA. And like I said earlier, Boat Mortar relies a lot more on having better farms. So if I was in a quote farm lead here, then I think going for the bank play would have been the move, so I could eventually also catch up on eco, while also maintaining a good spot for like having farms for the late game. And then I wouldn't have been in as awkward a situation as I was early, like later on. And you'll see that I end up doing some bad rushes here that put me in some pretty bad situations, but I got him to boost with regen leads, which is good. So then I sent him a Moab to follow that up, and I don't know how he's going to defend this, but I missed my balloon boost, which is bad. I wanted to actually have that balloon boost work. I just barely missed it, because he was able to wait on the fan club, basically because the Moab was not as far as it was. If it was further, then he would have had to sell his other farm. But good patience on him, good play from him to just wait for the fan club. And yeah, now he just pulls out his ace again. I send another Moab. I shouldn't have. There's no way that it actually ends up working. But I do it anyways. And I'm doing it because I expect him to be more aggressive. And like I said earlier, I didn't realize that this was a type of game where, like, he wants me to not have good farms just because I, like, actually need good farms to make Boat Mortar work in the late game. So yeah, I make another pretty big mistake here. I try to force the fan club, and again, he just has more money than I think he does, despite having 2 plantations. And yeah, it's just, that was basically the deciding move there. That was like, I put myself in a hole there. I shouldn't have done that. So yeah, from this point on, I'm going to play pretty passively. He is still sending mixed eco, which is basically like what this game was all about from the start. And from this point on, it's really going to be just like kind of passive-ish. So I'm going to take the opportunity to really just like talk like reflectively how I could have changed like my playstyle in this game. So first things first, I could have gone a lot more passive. I believe that I can pull off aggro Boat Mortar in the right situation, and I was playing off of the hope that Dark Farm Ace gets drained mid-game with these like harder rushes, and I really didn't know how great the Juggernaut spot that he had was, because he just had great micro on that Juggernaut. But I really just wasn't expecting Darkfire Mace on Riverside. I really wasn't. But now that I know that this is a thing, this is just learning for the future. Second thing that I could have really done is, like, I could have just, I should have, like I just said, I should have just played more passive. I shouldn't have sent that Moab. That was a useless Moab. That just drained my eco for no reason. But I could have also, like, I feel like that bank play I mentioned earlier on round 14 would have been a good bank play to go for. Cause see, like, now I'm like drained in eco. I only have one facility on round 25. He also has one facility on round 25, but he has like 500, 600 more eco than I do. Well, probably like 700 at this point, because he just keeps on balloon rushing. And I boosted, not sure of whether or not I needed to boost there. I probably did because I was slightly under defending for round 25 at least. But yeah, he's a solid 700 eco ahead of me right now, and we're even in farms, which means that he is naturally beating me in the economy game, which is now bad for me because, like I said, that BFB that I sent was really the turning point of the game, where like I was losing my farm lead dramatically because I just didn't play passive enough in the earlier game. Like, I could have gone for a BIA. Oh, excuse me. God. I could have gone for a BIA or a bank of some kind and rectified his mix eco play. But I now have to play a little defensively because I'm now under defending, and it's now round 27 and Moabs are coming on screen. I had to sell my other Republic in order to get up a big one, while he is now up on his second plantation, or not plantation, his second facility. And at this point, this game is basically just a lost cause at this point. I'm going to make a like kind of last attempt here with like semi-decent all-out, but it's Pete Mob. If you know Pete Mob, you know Pete Mob. You kind of understand where this is going if you're an experienced player. So yeah, this game is kind of just in the bag for Mr. Pete Mob, but we're gonna give him the glory of being able to show off a sick nasty defend. And really, I'm kind of at a loss of like where specifically I could have played differently besides what I had mentioned, the like being passive in the mid game and then having like a better like economy balance, because yeah, that really just kind of screwed me in the end. So if you have any particular tips for where I can settle on that, then let me know in the comments. But yeah, as we kind of brush up on the end of this all out here, I had the mortar stall in order to defend round 32. Tragic, but gives Mr. Mob the time to defend, whereas I would have I was basically dead the next round regardless. So it was really just a matter of like he had to choke in some way, shape, or form, and given how he was handling the first two ZOMGs, it really wasn't going that way. It wasn't going that way for me. And yeah, he was absolutely fine. I ended up thumbs down because I was a little pissed off, not gonna lie. I was a little salty. And like no disrespect to Pete Mob. I was salty earlier, and like I like apologized to him in the Discord, in the KOTH Discord. We basically like he understood I was having a bad morning. So yeah, I chose Swan Lake as my third, and I was in a kind of tilted mindset at this point So my plays are still not the greatest, and I'm here to reflect on that also in this game, because I think this reflection is important. Not only is it important for me to acknowledge that I make my own mistakes, but it's also good for me to, if better players so choose, give me tips and pointers so that I can accept that knowledge in the future, because that's how you learn. So, I play the aggro boat start because I'm going boat boomer, and I go to 260, get up my more bananas on round 3. Nothing really changes there, but I'm gonna play mostly aggro here because Swan Lake is a hard map. Now I noticed here that his boat is on strong, whereas I usually set my boat to close here. I realized that that's not the move, so I fumble a little bit and set my boat to strong, and it starts handling a lot better. So that's something to keep in mind for the future. Yeah, round 4 is kind of getting through, not super getting through, but I'm going to keep up with the pinks either way because it's a good drain, to say the least. Like, the lives are going to get through no matter what, and I think that it's enough to where it makes worth sending, even if I'm, like, not going to get up, like, farms super early. Like, I just had to play the aggression here. I wanted to kill Pete Mob, and I wanted to kill him fast. I was in that kind of mindset. So I was playing super aggro here in the early game. I bloom boosted blacks, which got a good chunk of lives off of him. And that's gonna be helpful. You know, every life is an extra, or one less life that I need to leak, or that I need him to leak when I send him a big rush. So the lives do matter in, like, as many cases as this situation goes. Here we are, round 7. I'm gonna opt to not be aggressive immediately on round 8. I wanted to see if I could spook him with like 4 sets of yellows, but he doesn't flinch. He's Pete Mob. It be like that. We go for our next farm. I bushed my first farm placement, which is tragic. But yeah, now I'm here. I got my second farm. I didn't get more bananas, but I wanted to again play this like super aggro. So I sent him a rush on round 9. He got up a wizard, a 0-1 to counter that, and we get him to leak a good bit here. Like, he's down to like 30 lives, 29 lives at the end of round 10. And like 29 lives is not very many, especially for boat wizard. Like, I think I have the advantage at this point in particular, because I don't need that much defense to defend, and I can also play relatively aggro and force a lot of defense on his end. So I'm basically in the exact opposite position that I was in last game, whereas Pete Mob was doing the same exact thing to me, because he was playing aggro dart farm ace. So yeah, I'm in like this better position here. I forced the destroyer immediately, and I don't send him much bigger of a rush after that. But he's ahead on farms, but I'm ahead on eco. So like I said, it's the basically exact opposite of last game. I get a little nervous, just kind of second guessing myself, so I get up the destroyer immediately to not die to a dumb camo ceramic. And then I get up an extra safety boat for safety. I rush him round 16. The bloom boost here might have helped, but he did have up a second lightning before that boost, so he didn't really end up taking a lot to that rush. He also sent late, so I'm gonna be fine against this rush. I didn't need to really upgrade that boat. I should have just gone for the farm. And yeah, so we're coming up on the Moab rounds. I opt to send him a Moab immediately as opposed to blending a bloom rush, like just outright. I don't bloom boost the Moab this time. But I believe we do end up getting a tower boost out of him, even though he has to build up another destroyer. Yeah, we end up getting a tower boost out of him. Very cool. So I send him a second Moab, and I believe this time I actually get off the tower boost, or not the tower boost, the balloon boost. So he's gonna have a good few problems. Never mind, I didn't get the balloon boost off on the Moab. I got the balloon boost off on the leads. I also probably shouldn't have sent regen at this point, because he had a good lot of coverage throughout the entire map. So the regens are just a waste of money. But yeah, so he's gonna send me a massive rush that's not really gonna do anything. Because like the camo leads, I have 2 destroyers for countering camo. Although it does get through a little bit because of the leads up top. It was actually a well-timed blended rush. Now that I look back on it, because it coincided with that AI. And yeah, so we're just kind of here in this situation. He's gonna get up his, what's it called? Gets up his Republic. I send him another Moab, and I think this was a mistake. He just shreds through that easily, no problem. And I also send the regens again. Shouldn't have sent him regens, like I said earlier. He has enough coverage to make the regens not a problem. And yeah, this is kind of like nervous play for me, basically. I get up a second boomerang because I think he's gonna try and send leads over this top, but I'm gonna have to boost anyway, so there was really no point to getting that boomerang. I had to boost there regardless, I think. I may have been able to get away without boosting, but I didn't know. So now I'm sending him an all-out. And this was my only chance of winning, I felt like, because Boomer doesn't go late game, whereas Wizard does. And, well, if you saw the thumbnail, this is where it came from. The camo ceramics were my only chance to win that, and, well, you hate to see it. You just hate to see it. It's not that I think that was a bad rush in particular, but I had a couple of misplays, and I was pretty nervous throughout the entire series, because, you know, Peat Mob is Peat Mob. But, yeah, that's gonna be the end of that. Like I said at the beginning of the video, depending on how this like preseason plays out and whether or not Cobra and NG are kind of formally like put back into the rotation, I'll probably decide to play or not. I'm probably going to be playing a little less overall though, just because I don't like the prospect of Cobra and NG being in King of the Hill. But nonetheless, y'all take care and have a good one.